건가 너는 겉과 속은 똑같네 yeah. 너에게 받은 상처는 너가 지워줘야 하지 비누로 비누를 씻어 뭐해 yeah. 너를 만날 때마다 조금씩 작아지겠지 넌 나를 전부 가져가네
It was a chilly winter's night, and I lay shivering beneath the weight of my comforter. I could feel the trickling down a familiar yet unwelcome sensation. As if that weren't enough, my normally affectionate boyfriend, Jimin, had been cold and distant all evening. He had even snapped at me when I tried to get close to him. Little did he know I was on my period. I could hear him muttering to himself in the other room, his voice growing more agitated by the minute. I debated whether or not to confront him about his attitude, but before I could muster the courage, he stormed into the room. "What is it with you today?" he shouted, his eyes flashing with anger. "Why are you always so clingy?" I flinched, my heart sinking. I wanted to tell him to explain, but the words seemed to catch in my throat. Instead, I tried to defend myself, my voice shaking. "I'm not trying to be clingy, Jimin. I just want to be close to you." His features darkened further, and he took a step closer, his chest heaving with anger. "Well, maybe if you weren't so damn all the time, I'd want to be close to you," he said. "You are suffocating me." The sting of his words cut deep, and I couldn't help but feel a hot tear slide down my cheek. I wanted to scream at him, to make him understand, but I couldn't find the strength. I could feel the pain in my abdomen, the weight of in my veins, and the growing sense of isolation between us. "I'm not trying to hurt you," I whispered. "I just forget it." And then I walked out of the room and went to the guest room. I curled up in the tiny, unfamiliar bed, trying to escape the ache in my heart and the ache in my body. The weight of the blankets was almost too much, but I welcomed the suffocating feeling, the way it mirrored how I felt inside. I didn't know what to do or how to make it better. Outside, the wind howled, a haunting melody that seemed to echo my own despair. Snowflakes danced and swirled past the window, painting the world outside a ghostly white. I stared at the ceiling, willing myself not to cry, but the tears came anyway, hot and relentless, streaking down my cheeks. I buried my face in my pillow, trying to muffle the sound, but it was no use. It seemed like the whole world was against me, like there was no place I could go to escape this pain. I didn't understand why Jimin was acting like this. He had never been this way before. Maybe it was because of his office. Maybe it was something else entirely. All I knew was that I missed the way he used to be. The way he would hold me and tell me everything would be alright. I ached for that feeling, for the comfort and safety that I had found in his arms. As I lay there, I could hear him pacing back and forth in the living room, his footsteps echoing through the empty house. It was like he was trying to escape from something, from himself maybe. I wanted to go to him, to tell him that I was sorry if I had done something wrong. But I was too afraid. Afraid of what he would say, afraid of how he would react. Finally, there was a knock on the door. I sat up in bed, my heart pounding. When I opened it, there he was, standing on the other side. Jimin's eyes were red-rimmed and glassy, his usually diligent hair a messy halo around his head. He looked so lost, so confused, that I couldn't help but feel a pang of guilt. "Jimin," I whispered, my voice trembling. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to push you away. I just wanted to be close to you." He took a step forward, his expression softening, and reached out to touch my cheek. "I know, baby. I'm sorry too. I don't understand why I'm acting like this. It's not you." "It's okay," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "I understand. It's just my period." Jimin's eyes widened in surprise, and then he let out a long, shaky breath. "Oh," he breathed. "I didn't know. I didn't realize." He took another step closer, wrapping his arms around me, burying his face in my neck. "I'm sorry, sweetheart. I should have been more understanding." I closed my eyes, feeling the warmth of his, the rhythm of his breath. It felt like coming home, like everything was finally going to be okay. "It's okay," I whispered back. "We'll get through this together." And then, as if he finally realized what he was doing, he pulled back, a grin on his face. "Well, maybe not tonight, but we will tomorrow, right?" I smiled back, feeling the last of my tears dry up. "Of course, silly. We'll always get through it together." his, tinged with the chill from the winter air. I love you, he whispered, his voice barely audible over the sound of the wind. I love you so much. And in that moment, as we stood there, the snow falling outside, I knew that everything was going to be okay. Because even when things seemed darkest, love had a way of finding its way back to us, of making everything feel right again. And with Jimin by my side, I knew that we could face anything,